If you are a bimbo and an old, somewhat wealthy man, love is in the air. I think that's it. That's it.
All right,
So,
mic drop.
mic drop.
Welcome back to the Harley and Malarkey Podcast, Old Dog New Tricks. So today, this is inspired by, occasionally I'll Google Brian Malarkey on Reddit. And
Shut up.
See
No,
what
you
people are
don't.
saying.
No, you don't.
Once every 3 months.
Oh, good God.
And
That's amazing. I love that. Thank you. Oh, that's love.
the people were saying,
The people.
yeah,
I almost think we should do a whole episode on
the
Reddit.
type of people who comment on Reddit.
Yeah, let's talk about Reddit. If you're hated on Reddit, that means you're doing great.
Yeah, I agree. And if you are living your life commenting on Reddit, take a look in the mirror.
That's seriously, we talk about alcoholism, we talk about bad relationships and stuff like that. Seriously, if you're just a Reddit commenter, get a life.
Yeah.
Get a life.
Honestly, if you've ever commented on Reddit, even once, I'm worried about you.
Uncle James, we're talking to you. Are you serious, Uncle James? You got nothing better to do in your life. 3 beautiful daughters, beautiful wife, things in your life.
Leave Uncle James alone. Anyways, not that we give a fuck what these people say or take it very seriously, but I chuckled a bit to myself when they were making fun of Brian, calling him a loser, that he was having a huge midlife crisis. And they're yeah, and his girlfriend is 20 years younger than him, and people were kind of going off on that. What do they even have to talk about? I can't imagine dating someone that much younger than me. And I think people have an assumption between age gap relationships. I'm probably an airhead who's hot, and he likes to have sex with
She
me.
totally is. Yeah, fun bag
And
everywhere.
And he's old and rich, and I want him for his money. I think that's the kind of...
Episode over. You just defined us. It's done. So. If you are a bimbo and an old, somewhat wealthy man, love is in the air. I think that's it. That's it.
All right,
So,
mic drop.
mic drop.
Thanks for listening.
It's so funny. I've told people this before, and I told you this before, is I think you're actually older than I am. And as you defined earlier in another episode, that this is your last life. You've lived 1,000 lives, and you're here, and you're doing your farewell tour right now.
I say that as a joke too, just so nobody thinks that I'm super full of myself. And then, anyways,
she's not joking. She totally 100% believes this. But you listen to, Stevie Nicks. You listen to old music. You're wise. You're beyond your years. I'm still even though I saw this on the gram the other day, is because I'm a Generation Xer. We were 30 years old when we were 10 because our parents didn't raise us.
Latchkey kids.
What's that?
It's called a latchkey kid.
What does that mean?
Nobody's home when you get home from school. You open the latch, you come in, you make yourself a TV dinner, you watch TV.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I was at a ranch, so we didn't have a latch. So
Okay,
don't
whatever.
confuse me. So we did. We were broke. We were wild. We were 30 years old when we were 10, but we're still 30 years old when we're 50. And so it's kind of funny that I'm still very, very childlike. And I actually feel like you're more grounded. You're more mature. You're more wise than I am. So I don't think you need to let age define you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I've always been much older than I am age-wise. And
Somewhat boring from time to time, actually.
No, I think most of my life I felt out of place. I remember being in junior high, just kind of being not to sound like a fucking asshole, but
But you are. It's
just being
being a self-righteous asshole sometimes.
I know, it sounds bad, but just being I can't wait to get to high school, because I had a bunch of friends in high school when I was in junior high, and I'll be then I'll finally be with people who kind of understand me. And then when I was in high school, I was okay, these people don't understand me. In college, then I'll really be an adult, and people will also be adults. I'll finally feel in place. And I did actually kind of feel in place in college, but I think I've always felt older than I am. Before I met you, my best friend was a woman who was 51 years old, and she and I were paying the town rent when I was newly single. So yeah, the age old, whatever those things are called, age is just a number.
Age is just a number. I think we're all at different, like you said, I think we're all at different places in our lives. So it doesn't necessarily mean just because you're the same age, you're in the same place in life. I really think it's, I've been through this experience. I'm onto this experience. I'm here. I'm there. I think you can find that anywhere.
Yeah.
But so I'm 18 years older than you, right? What if I went up 18? So that would be like me dating a 70, what is it?
No, not 70, 69.
Right there, knocking on the door. So we did just watch the Zac Efron movie recently.
With Nicole Kidman, A Family Affair.
Yes.
What?
I should go cruise some like 70-year-old women.
You know what I'm saying? That ship has sailed.
Oh, that ship has sailed. Yeah. I just
you have the time, but now we're kind of locked into this thing.
So I don't know. I do believe that women are more mature than men.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the people. It depends on what life experiences you have. In this life, I had a lot of experiences at a young age. I don't think we mentioned this on an episode, but my mom had a lot of mental health issues that I dealt with from the time I was like 5 years old. I had to be very old and wise to protect myself. And she ended up passing away of a drug overdose. And I wanted to be somebody who protected my little brother. And aside from all the experiences I went through, I truly believe, and like seeing your kids, that we are just kind of born into this earth who we are. And I think I was born into this earth kind of an old woman, you know? And we talk about your kids and how different they all are. You're like, they were like that from day one.
Yeah. It's incredible. Like you look at twins and they're so completely different. And I was like, it wasn't something that developed. Like she was like this when she was born. He was like this when they were born. They really had that personality and characteristics. And I do believe you are an old wise woman, and we should get you knitting here soon.
Yeah. And you're a young soul. I mean, you're wise in a lot of ways too, but you just had this. You
got the job already. You know what I mean?
That I'm sure you were born with.
And I mean, people think like, oh, you know, she's so lucky to have this guy. I don't know if anybody thinks that. They're like, all the men are like, nice work, Malarkey. I even had a dad yesterday go, thank you, Brian, just for parading you by. You know, you had your little swimsuit on. He was like, thank you, Brian. And I was like, you just filled his spank bank.
Oh, God.
Spank bank. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know what a spank bank was. I mean, I have one. I have an account.
You're yelling into the microphone.
Oh, sorry. I got so excited. I have an account at the Spank Bank, but I didn't really know the terminology. But I think age doesn't define us.
No, it doesn't. I would say the one thing when people are like, what is it like dating somebody who's 51? Like, I'm 33. No man who's 33 has an ex-wife and 3 kids. Well, maybe a few do, but not that many. So the difference is
high school kids too. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. You have an ex-wife that, you know, that's complications. That creates a different dynamic. You have 3 teenagers who I love and adore, but that's an interesting dynamic that most 33-year-old women aren't putting themselves into. But on the other side, you have, you know, multiple successful businesses. We don't have like financial concerns. So it's just like, it is a give and a take with dating somebody your own age or dating somebody at a different age.
This is I love this one. So all of Harley's friends are having babies. They're getting pregnant. They've got babies. And I'm like, dude, you're like the OG. You like are in the big leagues already. You're helping raise high school kids, you know? You can tell them that at the end of the rainbow, there is no other pot of gold. There is chaos.
People get really excited about like finding their person, getting married, buying a house, having a baby, kind of like that dream.
It is the dream.
Yeah.
And it's such a cultural pressure on us.
Yes.
You know?
Especially on women.
On a huge.
Because
like you have to get married, you got to get this, you got that. And I just really think that we need to look at and reanalyze. So many things in our society. Look back 50 years and say, oh my God, I can't believe that was going on. I can't believe we were doing that. I can't believe that. I do believe that in another 50 years, we're going to look back and go, why did we have all of these pressures? Like, you got to get married, you got to have kids. I think that's the government trying to keep us trapped in our mortgages and our upkeep. Conspiracy theory.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the industry of marriage, you have a party, it costs you $20,000. You call that party a wedding, it costs you $100,000 for the same thing.
I would like to explain from the other side of that perspective. A wedding is extremely cheap compared to a divorce.
Anyways, that wasn't the point of why I said that. The point was, I think that the younger you are, before you have friends that have older kids and you kind of know what it's really like, you go into having a baby as this like idealistic thing of like, oh, I'm going to have the cutest little baby and they're going to be so sweet and so nice and they're going to grow up and we're going to be best friends. And the older you get, especially if you know, live with 3 teenagers, you realize it's hard fucking work. But I do still want to have a kid someday.
I love that. We can't break her. Society, we cannot break her. Teenagers, we cannot break her. And we try every single day. All of your friends are having babies and you're helping raise teenagers right now. So you are a wise old soul and you give me lots of great advice. Age is just a number. It's where you are mentally, physically, I would assume too, and spiritually. And I think that's where they just collide. And if you're open for that, and you're open to find somebody that is in the same place in life with you, you don't have to look at age as a defining lever, because had that happened, had we been like, oh no, this won't work, our age won't work, we wouldn't have found the love that we have.
Yeah, and that would be sad.
That would be sad.
On the first day I met him, though, I did say, you're way too old for me, but I'll still make out with you. But see, I gave it a chance.
Yeah. And we still make out.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, it's a crazy world. And I think that we need to look at every day with a set of fresh eyes. It's when you get into these routines or these beliefs or these systems that you limit yourself of who you are.
Yeah.
And you don't give yourself the possibility to think outside the box. My whole life is thinking outside the box. I like to look at the way things are run, how they are organized, what's going on, and try to think of a brand new, fresh approach to that entire thing. And that's exactly what we're doing here in this relationship. I would never have thought that I would be in this relationship. I would never have thought I was dating a 69-year-old woman. Still getting used to that one. You got to play the coin on both sides. They'll be like, think outside the box. We are still Neanderthals as far as I'm concerned. We have not figured out the balance and what's right and what's wrong, and give life an opportunity to show you the road.
Yeah, I think it's also about being open-minded and open-hearted. Like, the world is an interesting place. A lot gets thrown at you. If you are inflexible and you're rigid in your beliefs and your ideas, the world is going to be a lot more of an unpleasant place. If you're open to new experiences and new things, like, the world will surprise you with how beautiful and amazing it can be.
That's a mic drop.
Yeah, mic drop.
Boom.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share with a friend, subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. Follow us at Harley and Malarkey Podcast on Instagram and send us a message to let us know what you want to hear next or have us answer your question on an upcoming episode. Tune in next week for more Old Dog New Tricks. Thank you for listening.